What you're seeing in this Miro has never failed to generate us at least 50 to 100K cash on every single webinar we run for clients, right? This client in particular cash collected 77K in 7 days and 210K across the entire month, allowing him to buy a literal fucking McLaren. And the truth is, me and Oscar, me and my business partner, we own these webinar funnels, right? They're free cash, they're barbecue chicken laydown for your sales team. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down how we collect 50 to 100K cash at the very least in every webinar we run, right? And if you're a coach or consultant and you're currently not using webinars to make more money, put your phone away, close all of your tabs, tell your fucking dog he'll pet it later, and log the fuck in, right? Because if you look at these big info gurus like Shelby Sapp, Breast Skills, Alex Ramosi, and Iman Ghazi, they all have one very specific thing in common, right? They love to run webinars or live events. And the reason why they love to run them is because webinars allow you to engage with your audience in real time, which allows you to build trust and rapport, which obviously equals to money in the 2026 info industry. It allows you to deliver value-dense content live, which increases your audience awareness and interest. It positions you as an authority in your niche, which again primes your audience for conversion. And it builds insane urgency and excitement, which only gets amplified by the live audience watching you. And it's insanely scalable, right? There's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't run webinars. And that said, without further ado, let's just jump right into it, right? So the very first thing you have to dial in order to cash collect at least 50 to 100K from your next webinar is your content, right? And in order to dial in your content, you first have to understand how the market is actually structured. So we obviously have the in-market buyers, which is around 3% of the market in there. You can think of them as like kind of the hottest leads, right? Then we have the needs convincing crowd, the mass market, and the non-buyers, which each equal to 30% of the market. And that's exactly how you want to structure your content as well, right? So the very first thing we do is mass market content, aka top of funnel content, and its only purpose is to bring people to our ecosystem, right? What we do next is in-market content, which is middle of funnel content, and middle of funnel content bridges the gap between awareness and conversion, right? People here are deciding if they should work with you, and middle of funnel content gives them the confidence to say yes later, right? And later is when they get exposed to our ready to buy content, which is our bottom of funnel content. And the reason why we post bottom of funnel content, even though it's smaller in reach, is because it turns interest into income, right? So what we're going to want to post here is student case studies, personal case studies, and just in-depth breakdowns of aspects of your business model, right? This content structure alone allows us to cash collect 17K days for our clients. Like, it's absolutely nothing. But for webinars specifically, in addition to like the evergreen content, we also like to run story sequences, right? So we always use a variation of the whisper, tease, shout sequence, where we first let them know that something is coming without letting them know what it is, to build that hype initially. Then we tease them, right, by telling them what it is and what's in it for them. And then we shout at them with student results and reminders, basically prompting them to register and show up, right? It's pretty simple. But we obviously don't just want to use YouTube and Instagram, because we usually have way more channels at our disposal, like school or Discord or email. So the next thing we do is create a congruency Miro board, right? That's how I call it. And the reason we have this Miro board is because congruency in marketing is key, right? So if you talk about apples on day one on Discord, we also want to talk about apples on day one on email, right? And on school, and on the paid school community as well in that specific case. Now, in the way our kind of top of funnel webinar promo is structured, where we just drive all the traffic to sign up for the free class, is that we first tease results, right, to kind of warm them up. That's actually kind of day 0. And then we have the first announcement, which is day 2. Free coaching on day 3, a lead magnet on day 4, where you kind of expand on what they get when they sign up, which is a lead magnet. Then we have the Shaw Cook, some FOMO, some objection handling, a morning off reminder, as well as some final reminders going out, right? So it's pretty simple. It's what we do across all of our platforms, as you can see right here. And to kind of be even more congruent, to boost congruency even further, we have custom GPTs for every single client we work with. And with this custom GPT, it's as simple as asking it of what we're actually selling. I'll literally spit out all the information I need, as you can see right here, right? The deliverables, the pricing, what the setters should be selling on the phone, etc., etc. Now, if you're a coach, creator, or growth operator, and you're not currently running a program, and you're kind of, I guess, curious and want to see if that's even possible for you, or you're already running a coaching program and you're not using webinars to the best extent, and you actually want to take over the market using our exact systems and processes you can see in this Miro board right here, there'll be a booking link in the description of this video where you can book a quick 15-minute call with me and my business partner. It'll be a super chill call where you just, I guess, look into your current systems and processes, see what we can actually offer you, if anything at all, and finally see if it makes sense for us to work together or not, right? It's a super chill call. Or you can also send me a DM on Twitter, and that's my handle right here. You'll also find it in my YouTube bio. But that said, let's continue with the registration page, right? Because once you have traffic, you obviously have to convert it and get it to sign up. So what we're going to want to do with all of that traffic is send them to a super simple registration page, as you can see right here. And then after they give us their name, their email, their phone number, we also want to send them to a confirmation page with a quick video of the creator, as well as invite them to WhatsApp group and prompt them to add it to the calendar, right? And what we're going to want to do next is get setters to dial them, right? So the reason we do that is to qualify the leads, increase the likelihood of them showing up and prime them for a sales message. So what we usually do is hire like 4 dialers and 1 DM setter just for the webinars we run. And we obviously also have our sales manager train them on our entire setting process that you can see right here. But that's not the only thing we do to get them to show up, right? We again want to leverage all of the channels we have at our disposal. Usually we do just email and WhatsApp, and the way we structure our pre-Webby promo, or I guess our indoctrination sequence where you actually get them to show up, is that we have a welcome and confirmation email. We invite them to the WhatsApp group. We have some guru credibility, some problem awareness, a success story, some preview of the training, right, where you give them some value initially. And we also have a cost of inaction, objection handling email, some general objection handling, a morning off email, and 3 basic reminders before the webinar, right? And that's the reason why we can get like 75% show rates, while the rest of the market gets like half of that. And it's also the reason why we have insane show rates on our evergreen funnels, right? That specific funnel is a call funnel in the B2C market where you have an 82% show rate and a 72% close. And for that specific funnel, we had like a 93% show rate, which was a call funnel as well, but it was a B2B market, to be fair. So they're not as retarded as B2C customers. But yeah, that said, the next thing we want to do after we get them to sign up and show up is to obviously convert them into booked calls, right? If we're running a high ticket webinar, which we usually do. So the way we structure our Webby promo is that we first give Claude a shit ton of context, right? We give it the high converting webinar framework, some general context on the Webby, some case study context profiles, some brand voice context profiles on the brand voice of the creator we work with. Then we also have a sales call ICP profile. So this is pulled directly from the sales calls, which basically is directly from their brain, right? And we also have an example webinar, some copywriting resources. So we give all of that to Claude and it spins up the entire Webby presentation for us. We obviously have to pretty it up and shit like that, but we're usually 80% there, right? And the way we structure our Webby presentations is that we first have a hook, which is very important that it can't feel familiar, right? It should be a pattern interrupt, because if it isn't, they'll just mentally check out if they've been on webinars before, right? Then we have the pain section where you kind of acknowledge that they showed up because something in their approach isn't working, just like we've done it for this trading webinar right here. And we have the tease section where you kind of let them know what they'll walk away with and sell them on the outcomes of staying till the end. So by the end of the webinar, you know exactly how to do A, B, C, and D. We transform the pain points into outcome-based promises that feel tangible and achievable. And then we have the excite section, which basically is just us future pacing and painting their ideal life in front of them after applying our system, right? Then we have the position section where you walk them through some personal results of the guru, as well as some student results to just build that authority and credibility. And then we have the paradigm section where we like to have an anti-mechanism, which basically is just something we can blame for them not achieving the desired outcome they wanted from whatever business model they tried. So then we have the mechanism section, which basically is just a value part of the Webby, which should be like a third of the entire presentation. Then we want to get them to commit to the value they just learned, to the process they just learned. Because if they're not committed to the process they just learned, they're never going to want to buy our offer on that exact process, right? It's pretty obvious. And then we obviously transition to the offer where we talk about the deliverables they're getting and what the deliverables can do for them, so the outcomes that they're going to get them. What we like to do here is have some mock-ups of the products just to help them, I guess, conceptualize what they're exactly getting and justify them purchasing a 5K trading offer in that specific case. Then we also have some exclusive bonuses, which they only get access to if they book a call on the webinar or the next 7 days after it. Then we have some risk reversal, right, where you present them with a guarantee. Then we also have some urgency and obviously the final close and some Q&A at the end. It's really not that deep, but structuring our presentations like that is exactly what allows us to book 177 calls in a matter of like 10 minutes. And it's also what allowed Paul to go from like doing 9K per month with his low ticket MRR to cash collecting, I think 42K cash in a single month and getting in the top 10 of the school games, as you can see right here. So all that's to say, if you structure your webinar presentation like this, the big leagues will definitely be calling and you're going to make a shit ton of money, right? But even after the Webby presentation, our job is not done yet, because usually we have between 50 and 70% show up, which means that around 30 to 50% of our leads haven't even showed up and they haven't even consumed them a sales message, right? And the thing is that consumption of the sales message obviously is correlated to their interest level, right? So what we usually see is 4 different interest levels, which is curious, general interest, highly interested, and certain. they usually buy here, so that's a threshold somewhere in a certain level. So what we obviously gonna want to do is push them to the replay of the webinar, to our replay page, which looks like this, and also have like some general post-webby promo going out on emails and in a WhatsApp group, right? So that's how we usually structure it. We split it between attended, didn't attend, and the main list. For the people who attended, we usually have a free class recap, a thank you and an offer recap email, some objection handling and Q&A, some future pacing, and a 12-hour left reminder that's going out 5 days after, basically reminding them that the offer and the exclusive bonuses will disappear, right? For the didn't attend segment, we usually do something very, very similar. We have the guilt trip email, selling them on the system, some objection handling and Q&A, a 40 hours left reminder and a 12 hours left reminder. And for the main list, we send a free classes done email, a testimonial email, and a 12-hour left reminder, right? Now, but even after they sign up for the webinar, show up, consume the entire thing, and even book a call with us, right? Our job is still not done. Even if your webinar presentation is dialed, if your messaging is dialed, it's still gonna inevitably produce some donkey leads, right? That's what I like to call them. And donkey leads, they're usually broke. They're usually not ready to pay us 5K for the high ticket 101. So what most business owners like to do is just throw them away, right? Look, I don't know about you, but I really like money. I like making it. I like spending it. So I'd rather sell the donkey leads something, right? So that's why we have the so-called offer shell, where you first have a low ticket MRR community, which you usually sell at like 27 bucks a month. We also have the mid-ticket do-it-yourself, where they basically get all the courses from the high-ticket 101, but just don't get the 101 calls and the 101 access, right? So we like to sell the mid-ticket do-it-yourself for like 1K. And we also have the mid-ticket 101, where they get the same 101 access, but just not as much of it, not as many 101 calls. And we usually sell that for around 2.5K. And then we obviously have our core offer, which is the high-ticket 101, which we sell for 5K, which won't be applicable to the donkey leads because they're broke. But we can still downsell them on the mid-ticket 101 and make an extra 2.5K, or in the mid-ticket do-it-yourself and make an extra 1K, or even on the low-ticket MRR and make an extra $27 a month, right? And that said, that was the exact process we used to collect 50 to 100K cash at the very least on every single webinar we run. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found this valuable, go like it, subscribe. I don't know what else you do on YouTube. And if you're a coach or consultant, go book that call in the video description. We'll absolutely crush it for you. That said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found this super valuable. I hope I shared something that you can implement on your offer right now and make more money with it. And yeah, that's how we kind of collect 50 to 100K on every webinar we run, I guess.